Hi, I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Client Success at VHT Studios.
Lucy, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm J. Philip Parker. I'm the CEO of Florida Brokerage for Douglas Elliman.
It's amazing to be here. I love your office. I love the environment. I want to be back when everything is over with COVID and just to see more people running around, right? And would love to talk to you about your wonderful brand. We cherish our relationship with Douglas Elliman. We work with you in just about every state. Not California yet, but we're getting there. Your brand is amazing. Your agents are using it. How is Florida, Douglas Elliman, Florida, leveraging the brand in today's environment?
You know, Lucy, it's interesting. A brand can take many different shapes and sizes, and ultimately at the core of who we are is our brand, but behind that brand is the people. And I think that if I look back 8 years ago or so when I started moving into markets like Palm Beach or Delray, everyone would say to me, well, who's Mr. Elliman? How do I meet this Mr. Elliman? And in fact, while there was a Mr. Elliman, that person is no longer a part of this company except in spirit. And what we are is we built a company around the people that we work with today. Starting obviously from Howard Lorber, our chairman, and then moving down into our regional leaders in each of our markets. Together, we have helped to create a culture that is identified with supporting our agents, providing our agents who are our clients with the best possible resources and helping them to deliver for their clients, which has pretty much across the board in each of our markets led to record-breaking sales, some of the most successful projects, and we've been very fortunate in being able to attract and retain some of the best agents in the industry. So the brand becomes a part of who we are. If you look at other major brands across the world, it's not the brand in and of itself, it's what does the brand represent? Quality, precision, excellence, commitment to success. And I think that across the board for Douglas Elliman, we have illustrated those same components of strength. And we believe that that's a part of our everyday. I'm a mission-driven person. I believe that if you understand what you're working for, then it's much easier to implement those goals. And we believe that helping our agents to be better at what they do, providing them with all the necessary tools, even sometimes if that decision might mean spending more money and compacting our margins a little bit more, ultimately it leads to greater success. And I now believe that everyone knows that there is no Mr. Douglas Elliman. There's a Mr. Howard Lorber and a Jay Parker and a Gus Rubio and all of my colleagues across the country. But together we have an incredible family that believes heavily in what we're doing and believes heavily in the representations that we make to make our agents better at what they do. And that message has really permeated into each of the markets that we're in.
Thank you so much. That is well spoken, and it is indeed the brand and the people. You have amazing agents, and with everything that's happening right now and with shortage of inventory, how your amazing agents are managing with the marketing strategy, with getting listings?
Sure. I mean, well, the inventory issue has started to present itself in Florida over the last few months. It's initially we had a frenzy due to this unfortunate pandemic we're living in for single-family homes. People were coming to Florida from all over the country. It's easy to point to markets like New York, but in fact we've seen people coming to us from pretty much every major region in the country for a lot of different reasons. But ultimately because at the beginning of the pandemic it was blistering cold in most of the Northeast, and we were enjoying some of the most incredible weather we've ever had. So as much as being trapped at home is a horrible situation for anybody, being able to get outside and walk your dog and get on a bicycle and do all those things made Florida pretty compelling. For many of the reasons I think existed prior to the pandemic, but that was sort of the catalyst that said, hey, I don't have to be here wherever here is. I'm gonna take advantage of Florida. Once people got here, started to realize that I can work from wherever I want. I really like Florida. It's not what it used to be, you know, the network for nightlife and the Sunshine State for shady people, but in fact a very, very compelling place to live with lots of great attributes, which were only augmented by no state income tax and incredible evolution of our real estate products and pretty much everything else that we represent, you know, culinary, education, medicine, everything seemed to kind of fall into place and create a very soft landing spot for anyone looking to come here from any part of the country or even the world. So that real strength in the single-family home market continued pretty much until today. But at the initiation of COVID in the United States, there was a fear in relation to vertical living. So the drive into single family was sort of pulling from multifamily or condo, and we saw the condo market really soften in sort of the fourth quarter of 2020, or really third quarter into the fourth quarter. But that, quite frankly, has changed. With the inventory drying up and the elements of comfort reinstilled in the market, at least in vertical living, we've seen another explosion in the condo market. And that's causing for the same types of inventory issues to impact the condo space, which is giving the developers confidence to launch new products, and we're working on several extraordinary new offerings across our markets. It's also given sellers a reason to list product that may not have been on the market before. So while we do have an extraordinary amount of inventory being absorbed, there still is inventory in most segments of the market. It's just a question of price, innovation, and collaboration. And so I hear every day about realtors calling me and saying, I have 3 agents, 5 agents, 10 agents that all want a particular type of single family home in a particular market. Well, that's going to be a challenge. They're going to have to be creative. They're going to have to use their strength to be able to hold the client close, potentially find an alternative for them in the short term. And I expect that as we move into the summer and some of those people that are going to be going back to wherever it is they're coming from, those rentals will become available again, and potentially some of those landlords will consider putting that product on the market for sale. So I think inventory has a way of solving its own problem through supply and demand. Prices will go up, and people will ultimately be willing or unwilling to pay a certain price, and that'll create some opportunities in the market. At the same time, I'm confident that there's a lot of people out there looking for new development opportunities. And it's really the brilliance of our company and our chairman, Howard Lorber, to be in all the markets our clients want to be in, which is part of our motivation in looking into new markets in the state of Florida that still offer that great lifestyle, great climate, great tax opportunities, but may not be in Miami or Palm Beach or Boca or Delray. Years ago when empty nesters and today, or retirees then, would move into this market, they were looking for a quieter, more relaxed type of environment to live in. And it's hard to find that in Miami today. It's a very busy, very active environment. So looking at other markets to the north, to the west, is something we want to be able to empower our agents to do, allow them to either work those deals themselves or to create referral opportunities to work with other agents throughout the market. But ultimately, I still think there's a ton of great product in all kinds of different parts of the market. And I think the best thing that I would tell realtors to do is, number one, work really hard to keep your client informed. Make sure that they're doing all the things necessary to keep that client as close to them as they possibly can be. And find an alternative for them in the short term while they wait out what may be coming in the market in the longer term, whether it's new inventory or opportunities or something shifting in the market where somebody says, hey, look, I can get much more than I paid a year ago or 2 years ago. Maybe it's worthwhile for me. And I think that evolution is natural and will happen.
That is exactly what's happening. And the way you presented it, it makes it so clear that, yes, there is still more opportunities. Agents just have to be more creative and maybe go out of their way and be out of the box to find those buyers, the sellers. They have plenty of buyers to find the sellers. And just like you were just mentioning about referral business and such, you have such a great network with Douglas Elliman between Florida, New York, Colorado, California. Your agents now, do they network even more probably? And what's the referral business going on?
Yeah, it's interesting. The fact that we're a non-franchised organization results in our leadership in each of our regions directing agents to one another to help carry that baton from one market to another in a very powerful and constructive fashion. Similarly, when an agent in New York refers to an agent in Fort Lauderdale, we want that relationship to be between the two agents, and we try to take ourselves out of the equation as much as possible, really just making sure that those two agents are working together and that there's opportunities there. But it really goes back to Howard Lorber's identification of an opportunity to be in only those markets that our clients want to be in. So we're hyper-focused. Some of our competitors are very local. Some of our competitors are in every corner of the country and the world. Well, not the world, but the country. Ours are not. Ours are only in those markets that really make sense, whether it's New York or Long Island, Southern Florida, Southern California, Colorado, Texas. They all move within those areas. And today, more than ever, people are relocating from high state tax markets into low, whether they're coming from California to Texas or California to Florida or New Jersey to Florida. And so the relationships in many cases have already been established. And for those that haven't been established, we're using technology and virtual initiatives to help connect agents to other new agents that might be able to benefit from that type of referral business. But I can tell you that we've never seen more referral business amongst our agents. We continue to leverage our relationships with managers in other markets to make sure that they're pushing that opportunity and not allowing their clients to simply sell in one market and not buy through us in another. The dream to have our agents collaborate has become realized. Our agents realize that they're better off thinking about ways to hand off a client versus trying to manage that client only in the market they're in. We've recently seen clients that had agents that had clients in Miami end up having a referral to Fort Lauderdale, and then it didn't work in Fort Lauderdale, so they referred them to Palm Beach. And everyone along the pathway made a little bit of money, but most importantly, we did right by the ultimate customer, helping them to navigate the markets and find the best product for themselves. And I think we're going to see more and more of that as the markets continue to constrict and people have more and more desire to be here. And I think that helps us with our developers too in identifying new and up and coming markets and helping to shape the product that we think our clients need. But condos today are in many ways very, very close to a single family home, a lot of privacy, a lot of exclusivity, depending on what product you're looking at. And being able to offer that product to our clients with Douglas Elliman more than any other brokerage firm is another advantage. We're at the front end of that curve, so we're working with our agents to help foresee what their client needs might be and helping our developers to develop that product so that it speaks squarely to what is in the market demand.
Exactly. And as a matter of fact, I have a talk show, Lunch with Lucy, and a couple of months ago, I invited 3 Douglas Elliman agents from Fort Lauderdale, from New York, and from Los Angeles, California. And all of them built their business on referral basis. I believe that California agent had 90% of his business is referral.
Wow.
And your agent from Fort Lauderdale was about 75-80%. And then about 75-80 is from New York. So that is incredible. And all 3 of them worked together. That's why I invited them. They didn't limit their relationship to just the 3 agents, but they just have this really tight and great connection, and they work so well together. But obviously, if your client needs and there is your competitor who is selling that property, you will do whatever it takes to satisfy the customer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the best effort that an agent could have is to make sure that the people that they work with or engage with or have the opportunity to touch in some capacity recognize their professionalism. Word of mouth goes a long way. There's no better advertising. And when an agent has a good experience in referring their client to you, they're probably going to think about how they can do that more, because in a referral scenario, you're handing off the responsibility but still participating in the income. So if you have a good referral relationship, it could double, triple, quadruple your business without you having to do much at all. So we encourage it. We work hard to make sure that when those relationships happen, that they're well managed. But there's a reason why Douglas Elliman continues to dominate in each market, and I really believe it's because of the camaraderie of our agents and our leadership all the way up to Howard.
Thank you so much. What would you like to wish to our audience, Douglas Elliman agents and also all other agents who are watching my channel?
Well, I think thankfully at this point, New York is doing better again. There's a lot of activity in that market. I think we all recognize that we've been through an extraordinarily difficult time together, and it's important that we all get through this in a powerful way. So while markets like Florida have done very well, and secondary markets like the Hamptons and Aspen have done very well, there are other parts of the market that had a much harder time, where you were in complete isolation and you couldn't work. I like to try to encourage people to work together, irrespective of what company you're with, find ways to share information, elevate our profession, recognize that we are in a very, very important place, particularly with people that are relocating, to help them make good decisions. I think it's important, and I think more money is made when you help a client navigate a process with patience and diligence versus rushing to try to make a buck as quickly as you can. The client that moves into an area or recommendation that really hasn't been thought through will probably not use you again. The client that feels that you're really looking out for their best interest is more than likely to work with you for the rest of their lives because they know that you have the intellectual capital to help them make good decisions and that your primary objective is them and not your bank account. And that's something that a lot of people in this industry struggle with because they don't know when their next paycheck is coming and they don't know how long it'll be until they have another client with a transaction. But ultimately, those that really succeed are the ones that I think put the client first. And so I would hope that, notwithstanding the challenges that many of us have faced, that people today realize that the client comes first. And through that, you'll probably solve all of your other questions or problems.
What a great advice. Well, thank you so much, Jay. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for spending time with me. I am Lucy Edwards, Director of Client Success at VHT Studios, and please go to vht.com/learn to watch more interviews and this amazing interview with Jay. Have a great day. Cheers.
Well, thank you, Lucy.